Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
The dead don't speak, but their stories do. Welcome to Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi, featuring defense attorney and host of the podcast, Defense Diaries, Bob Motta.
The way that this trial is being so locked down by Gull, including when this actually goes on, there's no tweeting. There's no cameras. It's so just behind closed doors. Don't question this. We don't want to have any evidence of anything that might go wrong or any improprieties. It's starting to make me work. Okay, what is the bigger goal here now at this point in this jurisdiction, in this area? Are they fearing a horrific lawsuit against this man if he is acquitted? And that's why they're just like, do everything to railroad this because we fucked up or somebody fucked up royally along the line. And if that gets exposed, it's going to be very expensive for our community. And so let's just really keep going down this road. I'm trying to figure out the motivation here because I don't understand why all these people would purposely just hate Richard Allen. Who knows if he did this crime, but that's what we want to figure out. But until we get there, why they have this such hate and such, animosity, and let's just shut him down and abuse him and make him go freaking nuts before we put him into trial. That's the only thing I can think of. Almost. Look, man. It reminds me to a certain extent of the case up in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, the
Steven Avery,
and the Brandon Dassey, where Steven Avery was in prison and then found out he didn't kill that woman. We're not talking about Teresa Halbach. Previous to that, I think a multi-million-dollar judgment against Manitowoc, and then conveniently. Look, he killed this woman on the car lot. And then suddenly they don't have to worry about paying Steven Avery anymore.
That went away. I think they got out of that with $400,000.
Yeah.
That was ultimately what he settled for. And, it was like, I don't think he was ever going to get the 40 million or the 36, whatever the hell he was, but he was going to get millions.
Yeah.
Unless
they got him arrested for something else, and
look, it could be a multitude of things.
Yeah.
It could be, this thing's one of three things. It's either he's guilty and he did it, and they're trying to really make sure that they get the conviction because they don't have great evidence, but they're convinced that he's the guy. So they're like, that was like, it's funny that you brought up the Avery thing because comparatively speaking, you can make the argument that Avery may have done it, but I have zero doubt that they planted that fucking car key.
Yeah.
Because they weren't going to let this guy get away. It's like Dean Strang, one of Avery's attorneys. It was my favorite line of his in the entire, Making a Murderer documentary. And it was like, the police don't frame innocent people. The police frame people that they think committed the crime.
Yeah.
And when they're and when they think that they have the right guy and they don't have enough evidence to get a conviction, that's when they start planting evidence. And it makes perfect sense. So you've either got a situation where Allen, that they truly believe he's the guy, right? And that they're doing everything they can to railroad him. Because at this point, there's no question he's been railroaded. Just everything that's happened with this case is it's a railroad job. And he could be guilty. Because I'm saying it's a railroad job doesn't mean that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that they've railroaded him to make sure that he gets convicted.
No matter what. Yeah.
No matter what. So that's one scenario. The other scenario is the one in which you talk about. That this is a CYA. We fucked up this investigation. There's so much shit that we should have done that we didn't do. We had this guy's statement for 5 years, yet he was left out to operate out in public, working at the CVS for 5 years, despite the fact that he had told us 5 years ago that he was on the bridge that day, and what he was wearing. We had all that shit. It's like the Hewerman shit.
Yeah.
Like they had the green aspen or whatever, the green avalanche that he had, the big fucking ogre guy. You know, it's like they had all that years ago. If they would have like decided to give some credence to what these two witnesses were saying about who was there that night, they would have gotten Hewerman. But and it's kind of the same thing that you can. So they could certainly be feeling that, and it's not lawsuits from Allen, but it's probably lawsuits from other potential parties, maybe the victims' families, that they've had to go through all this shit for 5 years, you know. But like the reality is the victim's family, if they get a conviction and they're of the mindset that they got the right guy, are just going to be thankful and they're not going to be suing anybody. So there's certainly that avenue of, okay, we got to make sure that this guy gets convicted because yes, you know, like we have railroaded him and we can't afford, like it's like beyond the bad investigation. It's like the fact that they've railroaded him, they've tortured him by keeping him in a prison for 2.5 years. Like you don't want this guy getting out because he's going to file suit. He's going to file a 1983 civil rights claim. Yeah. And he should win, you know, so there's that aspect. And then the other one is that this is something even more nefarious. Yeah. There is, you know, that it's like a bigger part of a bigger problem. Like there's a meth ring or some shit that maybe people have a vested interest in not having this meth ring exposed. And maybe I mean, who knows? Yeah. Like there's kind of like those three possibilities exist in my mind. And I've had so many people, like, because of the way that I cover this case, pin in my fucking DMs, just spilling guts. You know, I never go forward with any of it because I can't substantiate any of it. But, you know, it's like there's things that I know that are factual. I know that meth is an issue in Indiana. I know that there have been huge amounts of meth ring arrests in Kokomo, which is not that far. And I know that there's, you know, like a lot of oldness that practice in India. Those are things that are actually factual. Whether or not they have anything to do with this set of double homicides, I don't know. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, it exists as a possibility, you know, and it's like you've got this weird situation wherein law enforcement decided to abandon the Odin thing pretty early on. And I don't know if they ever looked into the meth ring angle, you know, but when you kind of dig into some of the players in that case, man, shit gets weird, you know, and it's like, I'll have a lot more to say when the case is done. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, the only thing we're missing here is to somehow find out that Proctor was involved in this case. You just when I thought I was out, you had to drag me back into Karen Reed. Like I posted some long thing about, you know, wrongful convictions on my Twitter, and somehow it devolved into a Karen Reed thread. I'm like, come on, man. Well, I'm like Karen Reed's got money to hire lawyers, and I'm talking about people that get railroaded in our system that like don't have the money to pay for highly efficient attorneys that, you know, can really dedicate a huge amount of time to their cases and shit like that, and are stuck with PDs who can be absolutely brilliant, fabulous lawyers, but simply don't have the time to dedicate to a certain case. That's always the difference. Whatever, man. Like, see how I just tangent like that? Did you see I just made that tangent, that right turn? Pull me back in. I digress. I digress. Well, we got Proctor popping up on the Anna Walsh case now. So that's, I thought they pulled him from that. He was the first one that was there. But he's pulled now, but now they're asking for all of his phone records from Karen Reed and Birchmore. And you bet they are. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I don't think Brian Walsh has much of a, this is like a blessing from God for him that that was one of the cops on this case. Cause the Google search that he did is pretty damning. We'll have to see what happens. Pretty bad. Here. I mean, that and all the bloody shit they found in the basement. That too. Yeah. Seeing like him with the back seat of the wagon folded down, putting a tarp in there. I mean, there's some pretty strong circumstantial evidence against that guy, but I don't think Proctor did a whole lot to incriminate him there. But the fact that he's even there is just like, what?
Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
You're in the thick of a true crime saga, every detail sinking in. And then, wham, a commercial about something you couldn't care less about. It's like being served a microwaved dinner at a 5-star restaurant. But it doesn't have to be this way. Go for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. With True Crime Today Premium Plus, you get uninterrupted, ad-free episodes, extended interviews that dig even deeper into the muck, and early access so you can brag to your friends. It's like ordering the secret menu at a crime buffet. So, search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and savor every twisted detail without interruption.